Fear of government control, orange analysis of dystopias. This is an analysis of government and sentiment across the dystopian novels Submission, The Mandibles, and Waiting for the Barbarians. In a previous assignment, I analyzed Michel Houellebecq's 2015 dystopia Submission, as I will do here, and from that analysis, I concluded that the increase in governmental control seen in the novel caused sentiments of fear in society. My goal with this project is to conduct further research to see if this theme is consistent throughout the dystopian genre. To do so, I will analyze two other dystopias in addition to Submission, Lionel Shriver's The Mandibles and J.M. Coetzee's Waiting for the Barbarians. There are many ways to analyze text, the most common being close reading. Close reading is a technique used to gain an in-depth understanding of what the text specifically means and the reasoning behind the literary choices made by the author. I will use close reading as well as distant reading with the help of Orange text tools. Distant reading is a technique used to analyze text on a broader scale, looking quantitatively at the trends of the most prevalent and prominent words, phrases, and sentiments throughout the text. Orange is an open source data mining and machine learning software that uses Python script and visual programming to interpret data. My hypothesis is that a recurring theme of the dystopia genre is an overall sentiment of fear throughout dystopias due to an increase in governmental control. The methods I will use to test this hypothesis are first, close reading to determine the changes of governmental control in each of the novels. Secondly, I will use Orange to analyze the significance of government changes in the sentiments of each novel. Increase of government control in dystopias, close reading analysis. For my close reading analysis, I will give a short summary of how government control increases in each dystopia. First, in Submission. In a near future France, the election of a Muslim president leads to the enforcement of Islamic values across society, reshaping institutions and curbing personal freedoms to align with religious and political beliefs. Meaning, there is a clear shift in government control going from a previously unstable government to the enforcement of Islamic values. In the Mandibles, amidst the collapse of the near-future U.S. economy, the government tightens control through currency devaluation, surveillance, and social welfare, increasing dependency and curbing personal autonomy. Clearly, there is an increase in governmental control and a decrease in personal freedoms. In Waiting for the Barbarians, as fear of a barbarian threat grows, the allegorical empire intensifies its authoritarian control through surveillance, torture, and militarization, suppressing both external and internal dissent. Again, in this novel, the small town in which the government begins overreaching their power goes from very low structure to a state of complete military control. Significance of government in dystopias, distant reading analysis with Orange. The Extract Keywords tool produces a list of the most prevalent and prominent words, resulting in major themes and important factors of novels. It works by scoring each word of the preprocessed text based on its relevance throughout the sections. It scores words based on how close their cosine distance is to most documents. The distance is computed on SBERT word embeddings. This means that the more relevant the word is to the context of the documents, the greater MBERT score it will have. On the right is an image of what the widget looks like in the Orange software. The results of the tool show that the most prominent words pertaining to the respective governments of each novel include France, Islam, duty, and elections for Submission, currency and gold for the Mandibles, and barbarians, treason, and cavalry for Waiting for the Barbarians. Each of these words have connections to each of the novel's respective changes in governmental control. The Iron Dystopias, distant reading analysis with Orange. The sentiment analysis tool determines what the scores of many different sentiments throughout each section of the novel. I specifically chose to use the sentiR function of the tool, as there are many types with different sentiments being analyzed, but not all of them contain the fear sentiment. For example, Vader only contains positive, negative, or neutral sentiments. It works by predicting the sentiment of a given section of the text based on a predetermined list of words and their associated sentiments. It uses vector-based models to compute the valence of each word in a text by locating its position in the 2D emotion potential space of the model. Although, there are some limitations to think about. This tool is not completely accurate, as the scores are based on a confined list of words. To the right is an image of the orange pipeline that contains the widgets for sentiment analysis. The data table creates a table of the sentiment scores, while the heat map shows the same data but by color. I decided to present the data with a heat map as I think that is most helpful when interpreting the data. These are the results of the sentiment analysis. The more orange the color is, the higher the score. The more blue the color is, the lower the score. It is clear to see that in all three of the novels, fear consistently has the highest sentiment score throughout each section. Conclusions. Through close reading, I found that each dystopia experiences an increase in government control and their respective societal effects. Keyword analysis through distant reading showed evidence of these changes in government holding significance in each novel. Sentiment analysis through distant reading then revealed that fear is the most prominent sentiment throughout each novel. Combining these results, my hypothesis is supported, meaning there is evidence to suggest that an increase in governmental control causes sentiments of fear throughout the dystopian genre. And this is my works cited.